What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Nicole, and today we're going over my not so spooky 2025 October reading wrap up. It was not that great. What is up with 2025? It hasn't been that great for everything, but specifically because I'm on BookTube. Not great for reading, though. It was probably because I am on a book buying ban and therefore I'm going to the library, and that means I'm trying out brand new authors. And well, I would just say it's good that I'm going to the library to try out said new authors, because if I paid money for basically all of the books that I did not like or absolutely hated this year, I would be very upset because, yeah, it hasn't been fantastic. I only enjoyed 3 books on this list. Wow. Let's get into it. The first book that I read for October is Lost Gods by Brandy. I read it, but I did not rate it. There was too much going on. I think if you just go with the simple idea, which is in the blurb, okay, that Chet Morgan goes into purgatory, but it's basically the underworld, like Greek and Roman myths, to save his wife and unborn child. And he goes through a lot of issues in the underworld because things are happening up in the human world with his crazy aunt. That makes so much sense. I don't think you needed to have these huge hierarchies of demons and gods and goddesses and monsters and all that stuff. And then on top of like the magical beings having a hierarchy, the humans that are dead, that are stuck in purgatory, they also have a hierarchy, and there's rebellions going on and blah, blah, blah. I think it's too much. So the first half made perfect sense. When Chet goes and gets himself captured and forced into a gladiatorial like arena fight to the death thing about halfway through, then it went downhill. And then also there are like 5 or 6 points of views. I don't know what happened. I enjoyed the first half. I don't know about the second half. That's why I didn't rate it. That was a book that I owned because Patrick, my friend Patrick, sent that to me about a year ago, and I did donate it to the little library nearby. The artwork, fantastic. Brom is a great artist. I think sometimes there are some writers that need to have an editor that says, let's rein it in. Yeah. Number 2, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch by Cody Crowley. Read, not rated. This was marketed so wrong. It is not a slasher. It's not gory. It's not violent. And honestly, the main character is not very vengeful or bitchy. And it is also young adult, like upper young adult. It's a weird book. I don't know how you place it. You can't put it in a specific genre. It's like 4 different genres, and then, like I said, the marketing was off. I don't know what's going on there. Interesting to see that traditionally published authors are getting deals from pretty big publishers, where usually the vast majority of the time you need to be in a specific genre. Like, you have to write to market, and that's not an insult. It's like, I can't really describe Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch, and you're also gonna see and hear that for a number of other books. If I can't sum up a book in a couple of sentences, there's just a bit too much going on. But, you know, when we talk about indie books and how like they don't fit in a box, oh my god, how horrible. That's why you're indie and you weren't picked up. Well, I'm seeing a lot as of this year, and I guess last year, where it's like, what are we doing? Why is this so complicated? Why are there so many points of view? Why? Because y'all are dissing indie writers for kind of sort of doing it. Not even at this scale. Like maybe they have like 3 points of view and they have 2 genres instead of one, you know, perfectly fit in a box thing, and like you're dissing indies. I can't tell you what Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch is. That's not good. It's not good. Going on to number 3, same vibe, An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson, DNF not rated. I gave up by like page 150. It's like a 500-page book. What are we doing? I don't know what's going on. It is stated to be dark academia, but just because it's in a college and there's magic does not mean that it's dark academia. It's like a mix of science fiction, horror, and fantasy. Yeah, I don't know. And also there's a lot of purple prose, flowery language. Not into that. But I enjoy Alexis's other 2 books. They were more to the point. This one, it's a lot of meandering and like a lot of mixing of genres. I don't know what's going on. Number 4, Matchmaking for Psychopaths by Tasha Correll. 3 stars. Also a mix of, I don't know what this is. So the main character, child of 2 serial killers, and so now she's an adult and she matchmakes for psychopaths, and then there's this one psychopath that becomes obsessed with her, but then also there's like a bunch of murders happening around her, so it's also a mystery. So it's a mystery, okay, it's a contemporary mystery, romance, but dark romance. Okay. I was amused, that's why I gave it 3 stars, but I guessed most of what happened, but there were like a couple things where I'm like, ooh, surprise, cool. That's why I rated it. But yes, another one where I'm like, there's a lot going on here. Can I sum it up in a couple of sentences? Not accurately, or else I would spoil things. So like that's interesting. That's just interesting. Okay. Number 5, Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. 5 stars. Finally. Thank you, Chuck. I tingled all the way through this book. This is meta horror, and he really gets into AI and Hollywood and doing things for the algorithm and what is art and what's not art. And I really appreciate that. I will be doing a book review on Bury Your Gaze shortly. And I found Chuck Tingle by his funny erotica. I haven't read any of his erotica. Then he became so big that he got traditionally published. So Bury Your Gaze is a traditionally published meta horror novel. And I first read Camp Damascus, which is his first traditionally published novel, and I gave that 4 stars. When I have the money to do so, I will be buying Bury Your Gaze. It made me feel so many feels, and I really appreciate Chuck diving into so many topics that are just, I don't know, just difficult topics right now, but in a very loving and respectful way. Number 6, Blister by Jeff Strand. 4 stars. Yes, finally another one. Well, this is not traditionally published. It's self-published. Jeff Strand is pretty damn popular. I gave it 4 stars because there were 2 instances at the end of this novel where it didn't make 100% sense, especially with the female main character. One of her choices questionable up to that point didn't completely align with what I was getting at with the female main character. We follow Jason. This is the 1980s, and he's a cartoonist that needs to have some relaxation and rest because, you know, there's a controversial thing that happened that he did, which I thought was hilarious. And now this is original. I would say that it's a black comedy horror, and it works. It is pretty violent, but there's an air of fun to it, which I appreciate, and it's an original concept, as in Jason, you know, goes to what, like the middle of nowhere, Georgia, in a lake house, and when he is drinking with some random not really neighbors, random locals, they say, oh, you should check out Blister. And so Blister is a young woman who was severely disformed by her ex. And so she's like the local, like, urban legend, but she's real. And so he feels really bad sneaking a peek at her after he wakes up hungover and like full of regret. And so then he visits Blister, and really all hell breaks loose. I am going to do a book review on Blister, and I'm going to go a little deeper into, you know, a lot of stuff, but I do recommend it because it's black comedy horror, and I do appreciate the originality. Number 7, Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder, DNF not rated. Okay, this is basically based on Kafka's Metamorphosis, that short story. Maybe it's considered a novella. I'm gonna go with short story because the last I looked it up on Amazon, about 69 pages for Metamorphosis. Okay, this book is too long. It does not need to be a book. It needs to be max a novella. So a novella is under 40,000 words. It's too much. It's too much. When you were talking about something like a transformation, an existential crisis, you can really only stretch it out so far. And what we're talking about, Night Bitch, is that the main character, Mother, she has a young son, and she's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because like 50 different reasons. So then she turns into like a wolf dog werewolf. We're not like 100% sure. And so like she's just growing random patches of fur everywhere, and like no one believes her, on top of the fact that no one believed that she's having a hard time with motherhood. I absolutely understand how damn well hard motherhood is, but the tension was not there after page 50 because you're just repeating the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So that's why I think it should have been a short story, and I think it would have hit way more. I gave up after 150 pages, and it's like a 300-page book. I don't think it needs to be that long. Also, the writing is very meandering, and I'm not understanding. Why aren't there quotation marks when people speak? I don't understand. I don't know. It's like literary horror fiction, and I'm not feeling literary horror fiction. Okay, and that goes down to number 8, The Lamb by Lucy Rose, 1 star. It's a debut novel, and they say so much. They say it is horror, coming of age, folktale, an enchantment, a love story. What is it? What is it? Okay, we're doing too much. We're just doing too much here. I finished this book because I thought that something new would happen, but I guessed the whole book by page 50. Okay, yes. Yeah. I don't see where it's a folk tale. I don't see how it's a love story. I don't see how it's a coming of age. I can see that it's literary horror fiction, and that's about it. I think it was hyped up a little too much. And you're placing genres and subgenres on a book, like all the other ones that we talked about. But it's not accurate. Here's the thing. Just because it has a thing doesn't mean it is the thing. This comes with books and film. Just because it has a thing doesn't mean it is a thing. So, yeah. Okay. That's hard. Anyway, number 9, final book, Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. 4 stars. This is the third and final book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. The other 2 books, I'm sure you know. If not, I'm going to tell you. The first book is Butcher and Blackbird. The second book is Leather and Lark. And here we are, Scythe and Sparrow. This follows Finn and Rose. The first book follows Rowan and Sloane. The second book follows Lachlan and Lark, and this, yeah, like I said, Finn and Rose. Finn is the youngest and like most innocent, but not actually, of the 3 brothers in this series. And yeah, I gave all of these books 4 stars. I would say that this is black comedy romance. And we're sticking to that because it's not dark romance. Dark romance is very, very specific, and it's also not funny whatsoever. All 3 books are funny, but also, you know, romance. So I do recommend it, but also just keep in mind it is very violent, and they're all serial killers, or they're killers. So yes, they're not normal couples, as one would say. And I will be doing a book review on Scythe and Sparrow. Ooh, I'm messing it up. Scythe and Sparrow sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for watching my October reading wrap-up. Let me know if you've read any of these books. And did you have a better October? I hope so. It was such a bummer. All this year, bummer. I think maybe you've had maybe 3 fantastic months. Everything else, not great. That's a vibe for this year, though, so why am I surprised? Okay. Let me know anything positive in the comments because I need some positivity, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.